Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm trying out a different video format where I treat the video as a discussion rather than simply gameplay and commentary, as well as returning to one of my more favorite games. In this video series, I'll be discussing a general set of reasons for why players like or dislike certain bosses in Don't Starve Together. Bear in mind, when I say why players love or why players hate, I don't mean the entire community as a whole. Obviously everyone has different opinions. But speaking from my own experiences, as well as a lot of people I've heard from, I'm hoping to discuss from a perspective that almost everyone can agree with. With that out of the way, let's talk about Klaus. Klaus is an optional boss you can encounter in Winter, or by turning on Winter's Feast. Imagine you're new to the game, and your experienced friend who helped you prepare for Winter suddenly tells you to follow him to help them kill Santa. Your first reaction would probably be, that doesn't sound right. Why are we killing Santa? Why is Santa in the constant? Of course, I'm being theoretical, I doubt most people would say this. Then he leads you to a loot stash in the middle of the deciduous or mosaic biome and inserts a deer antler. Suddenly you see a big eyeless demon with 2 gem deer approaching you. I would argue that Klaus might be my favorite boss in the entire game, even just thematically. The way the fight plays out is that Klaus will approach you to swipe twice at you, in which you can dodge that, get a few hits in before dodging again. Then he will proceed to raise his hand and cast a spell, forcing either the red gem deer to cast fire clouds under every nearby player, or the blue gem deer to summon ice fissures in an attempt to slow and freeze you. The walking cane definitely helps with both of those issues, but while he's casting is also a good time to get a few hits in. The fight repeats from here, but at around half health he falls to his knees and summons 2 crampi per player, while he starts laughing at you. Wow, you didn't need to be mean. I mean, I guess I deserve that for trying to steal. Crampi are arguably the only annoying part about the fight, but after they go down, the fight continues until Klaus dies. And then the best possible surprise happens. Using a life-giving amulet, an item that even players have access to, Klaus resurrects at half HP, and his chains fall off, revealing a giant mouth in his stomach, giving him a new attack where he starts lunging at you while letting out a screech, and occasionally doing a harmless screech where you can get a few hits in. Granted, they did remove his collision with a sack so you can't hide behind it, but you can still use end tables or use a walking cane to get out of distance. The music even gets more intense, and that's pretty cool. After you do defeat Klaus, he dies for real and drops his antler used to open the loot stash, giving you random drops from other bosses. So now that I've explained how the fight goes, let's talk about why players love Klaus, or like Klaus, whatever you prefer. First off, summoning Klaus isn't all that difficult. You simply have to find a wandering pack of no-eyed deer, usually near the Pig King. Then come Winter, just chase one into a tree, and there's your key to the fight. You can even get multiple keys to spare you from doing this again in future winters, or if you accidentally despawn Klaus by running away. Then from there, the loot stash is either not that far, or it's just in the opposite biome of where you found them. The stash appears to always spawn in the same location in each world, so you always know where to find Klaus. Second, the fight itself is simple yet fun. The attack pattern is not too hard, but it's not exactly a boring and tedious loop either. Klaus has a respectable amount of health even if you're fighting him solo, and while his crampi might be annoying and it may be hard to deal with his second phase if you don't have a walking cane or a way to block his jump, it's still not that bad, and it's pretty fun. You don't need much outside of some armor, healing, and a handbat, and of course the walking cane helps. Thematically speaking, this boss is also really cool. Wartox and Krampus are very demon-themed, but while Wartox is a playable character and Krampus is an annoying yet rare enemy, Klaus is a full-on demon boss, or as I would put it, demonic Santa. His music is really enjoyable, especially when it shifts between fights. Another detail I love is that a new player might instinctively think that his deer are annoying and a good source of his power, so taking them out would make the fight easier, only to piss off Klaus so much that he becomes the strongest and hardest boss in the entire game. I honestly love this and don't have much else to say about it. And last, the loot. Klaus doesn't really have his own unique loot, but instead has loot from a bunch of other bosses, and oh boy, this is good stuff. You can get another Deerclops eye alongside the Deerclops you meet every winter, You can get Barrager fur, you can get moose goose wings, you can get the Malbatross bill, and even the Bee Queen crown. I cannot tell you how nice it is to get her crown without fighting her. As Orange said, you can get loot from an annoying boss without having to fight the annoying boss. You even get a 10% chance to get a Krampus sack. I'd much rather take that than repeatedly killing Glommer and doing a rollback after Krampus doesn't drop it. The fact that you can do this every winter, even, is insane. And as an added bonus, you can fight him all year long during Winter's Feast, which you can just turn it on in the world settings if you really want. So let's summarize it all here. Easily accessible fight, not too hard, pretty fun, really good loot, can be done frequently, and overall really enjoyable. Klaus was definitely one of the better additions in a new reign when it was added. Though I can't speak from the experience of being there when it happened since I joined Don't Starve Together in the middle of summer 2022. One thing I noticed is that a lot of enemies are simple in terms of hit a certain number of times, walk backwards. And I think Klaus takes that but adds a couple extra steps to it and it just works really well. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments on whether you agree or disagree with my points and if you would like to see more of these videos from me. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.